Greetings, boys and girls, ladies and gents. Thank you for tuning in. This is Genviève, and you are on Genvièv TV, your channel for forensic and clinical education. I haven't been live in a little bit of a time because simply we were having renovations here at the HQs with the building being torn and rebuilt. So that's put a bit of a halt in my schedule. But I wanted to take a short time today on Tuesday before the renovation continues on to tune in with all of you and talk about a subject that is, I find, almost comical. And the point is, in fact, what I do as a forensic and clinical hypnotherapist, my goal, my duty is to de-hypnotize you. Patrick, welcome on board. You finally caught me live. That was about time. So today I'm talking about an important and funny topic that is, as a hypnotist, as a hypnotherapist, as a forensic and clinical regression to cause hypnotherapist, hello Dot, my goal is to de-hypnotize you from the negative programming that was plastered onto your brain, onto your mind, and early on in life, most often, early life negative programming. Because when you are going through life, especially at an early age, we are being influenced by the world around you and by authority figures around you, most especially parents, teachers, those we look up to, and those who tell us that they hold the truth and we have to obey and believe their truth. And as young ones, you know, you come into the world pretty much as a blank slate, and you are on a mission to absorb and learn who you are and who the world and how the world functions around you. And so as such, we are very often adopting beliefs that are not our own and adopting truths that are not actual realities. And that creates lifelong programming in our brain that then can become self-sabotaging behaviors. And then later on in life, we're constantly blasted by subliminal programming, million-dollar companies, advertising, media marketing, designed to ignite reactions within us so that we become consumers of this product, blast us with advertisement on the print, in the press, on the media, on TV, in the ads, everywhere, leading us to believe that we have to be a certain way. So all of that creates negative programming to some level in our brain, in our mind, and we end up functioning through life with beliefs that we're faulty, that we're not good enough, that we're not as we were supposed to be, that we are lacking in certain areas and have to continuously improve to reach a certain ideal that may not be our own ideal at all. So as a hypnotist, I have a duty to de-hypnotize you from the negative programming that prevents you from living your life fully. And so when people come to see me, it's usually when everything else has failed and when they have they've been left facing very difficult issues that are resistant to treatment. So they usually try to address symptoms, and when nothing works, that's when they eventually end up with hypnosis, because all the other symptomatic approaches have failed them in being able to release the symptoms. And that could be procrastination, that could be fear of failure, fear of success, that could be loss and lack of self-esteem, of identity, of self-worth, that leads them to believe that they are not as they should be. And then that turns us into negative behaviors like insecurity, jealousy, problems of confidence and being able to be yourself in public. All of this goes back in time to early life wounds and fractures where we were led to believe that who we were was faulty and not good enough and not as we were supposed to be. So with forensic hypnosis, my goal with each and every one of you is to find your current symptoms, and instead of regressing, repressing, ignoring, the symptoms, which we typically do when we have negative emotions that are uncomfortable, because negative emotions are per se uncomfortable. So what we all do instinctively is to attempt repressing them, resisting them, ignoring them, pretending that those negative emotions are not there. And what that does is it basically pushes them internally. It traps them within our body, within our fabric, within our cell memory. And Chinese medicine, Eastern medicine approach, has long theorized that repressed emotions fester internally, eventually creating dis-ease, whether mental or physical or physiological imbalances. All of those repressed emotions, like water behind a dam. If you have a river and you place a wall over that river because you don't want the river to flow in front of you, obviously the river is not going to go anywhere. It's going to start being packed behind that wall, trapped behind that wall, creating increasing pressure, and eventually the wall is going to feel like it's going to implode because of the pressure internally. And that's what we do when we trap negative emotions. We're basically festering, pushing them internally, and they begin to build pressure. So when I work with each and every one of you to release negative emotions permanently, it's not temporary, it's not a symptomatic approach, it's a holistic, systemic approach where we go deep into the depth of your negative emotions and find out where they come from, why they're there. And if you decide these emotions are not helping you live your life fully and accomplish what you want to accomplish in your life, your truth, your dreams, your endeavors, living your life with purpose, we're following them back in time to their root cause. And in order to do that, we have to first ignite them. So in trauma therapy, and I work with trauma centers, continuously doing research with psychotherapists, psychologists, and trauma specialists, EMDR specialists. So what we do with negative emotions, there's this approach that is called truly dissolving, dissipating, and diffusing the negative emotions by immersing yourself within them. So the first step is we turn towards the negative emotions rather than turning away from them and ignoring them. We actually turn towards and dive into the negative emotion, whether it's fear, whether it's insecurity, lack of confidence, all of these emotions that are not serving you. So for a short moment in time, we're going to dive into that emotion and truly amplify it and observe it. So allowing the volume of that emotion to rise to the surface, immersing yourself in it, experiencing it at its maximum potency. So you're no longer repressing it. You're sort of opening the floodgates. We're going back to the river analogy. You're opening the floodgates and releasing that river of emotion and finally allowing it to come to the surface. And that allows us, when we are there in that state of hypnosis, which, as you may be reminded, is only a state of physical, mental, and emotional relaxation, you can all access very easily. If you want to work without me directly being there, simply go to my website, genvièvhypnosis.com. To the store, you'll be able to download that MP3 that is your standard approach into that depth of hypnosis as I guide each and every one of you who works with me to attain it. So when you are in there, we're going back to your example situation, igniting it, igniting those emotions, allowing them to be and observing them for just a few seconds, no longer repressing them, simply allowing those emotions to be, and then following them back in track to their initial root cause, the initial sensitizing event, or ISE, as we call in clinical hypnosis and hypnotherapy, going back in time to their root cause. And what you're doing at that moment in time is you are bringing the adult you of today with all of your maturity, all of your experience, all of your strength and power and independence as an adult back in time to the younger you, wherever you were in life. It could be the last person I worked with this week was regressed back to being an infant, being born and feeling unwanted, feeling rejected, feeling hated right there at the birth. Imagine how devastating it is for a baby to enter the world and feel that rejection that a lot of us have felt in childhood when we were rejected by our biological family. And so we're going back in time, but we're bringing the adult you, the you of today, with all of your strength and power and kindness and richness of heart and emotion. And we're rescuing that younger you, that infant, that baby, that younger child who you were at a moment in time where you felt unwanted, unworthy, unworthy and unloved. And we're rescuing that baby, that younger you, that child, or that young adult, wherever it was, and allowing that younger part within you to understand, very possibly for the first time ever, that who you were at that moment in time was unique and irreplaceable, magnificent in your uniqueness, exactly as you were. And so your adult self becomes the parent, becomes the coach, the teacher, becomes the authority figure that was needed at the time, with unconditional love and support and full acceptance of that younger you, allowing that younger you to finally feel welcome and loved and cherished and appreciated exactly as you were in your exact state, and rescuing that younger you, because there is no need for that younger part to remain trapped for decades in a life, sometimes back in early traumatic events that you have already survived and gone through and escaped, because the past no longer exists. Typically, we are only keeping the past alive with our memories by revisiting traumatic events. And that's a very normal, natural consequence of traumatic events. Post-traumatic stress disorder, stress conditions lead us to relive past experiences. So we no longer need to continue those experiences, their radiance and vibrancy in your life of today. Once you've rescued the younger self, we're bringing that younger one out of that scenario into a peaceful, serene place of your choice. I choose a forest path with a beautiful pond and a warm rock, where we're able to do the restorative work and repair the emotional fabric, and possibly teach that younger you for the first time ever that who you were and who you are is unique and irreplaceable exactly as you are. And then we're bringing that younger you into your life of today, so that you can embark for the first time into the best childhood of your life, being protected by the adult you of today. So we are releasing early life programming. We are releasing also media influences, if need be, all those advertisement and subliminal marketing that spend billions of dollars convincing us that we need to be a certain way. Everybody is different, and in our differences lies our uniqueness, basically. And so as we repair and rebuild that younger one, what we're doing is we are rescuing, repairing, releasing the early life fractures, rebuilding your sense of self and truth, and basically de-hypnotizing you from the negative influence of early life trauma, of negative programming sustained through the course of your journey. So as a hypnotist, my role is actually to de-hypnotize you. And I love that analogy because it's very much the truth. So as I'm looking at your questions, Patrick, do you think any of these issues are inherited, such as genes or larger percent due to the environment? Environment, absolutely yes. Inherited, I will say, a lot of people come to see me and say, well, for instance, with issues like weight, I'm overweight because everybody in my family is overweight. It's in the genes. I tell them, look, if we take you and place you in a country in Africa, Kenya, Mozambique, one of those countries, and leave you there for 3 years, I guarantee you I'm coming to pick you up 3 years later. You're not going to have the same weight. The programming is inherited in the habits and the behaviors. As we grow up in a certain environment, we are adopting beliefs and habits that sometimes are self-sabotaging. As we change our beliefs and habits, and they can entirely be changed, like we're not our bodies. I keep saying that our bodies are a vehicle, a magnificent, immensely beneficial vehicle that allows us to transfer and journey through the course of life and share the uniqueness of who we are. We're not our mind. Our brain is the operating software that allows us to control our body. We're not our personality either. That is an act that we have been trained to perform. So we can change our personality, we can change our habits, we can change our behaviors. In doing so, we are actually changing the way our body is reflected in the world by taking on new habits. Obviously, nutrition, proper sleep, exercise, mens sana in corpore sano, a healthy body and a healthy mind. We can absolutely bend and shift reality. As we shift our internal image of ourselves, everything we experience on the outside will absolutely be transformed. So that's what I do, and that's a short clip for today. I have more videos coming up this week as I'm trying to catch up on the halt that was placed on my practice here with the renovation of the building. But I will keep you in tune with all of this. So Thank you for joining, everybody. Patrick, thank you. Carlo, thank you. Pedro, Neil, Leonard, and Anis, thank you so much, everybody, for joining. Remember, you can catch me on youtube.com/Genvièv TV. Do subscribe. You'll find a red box there. It is free and it allows you to join our communities and share underneath the videos. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom of your screen, you will find the place where you can share your ideas, your comments, your notes, your hopes for future topics, so we can most reflect them and discuss them with my team and provide you with the content that's most accessible to you. So thank you for tuning in. As you know, I'm Genvièv St. Clair. I'm a forensic and clinical board-certified hypnosis instructor with decades of experience resolving complex cases previously resistant to treatment. I'm an emergency medicine first responder with the Wilderness Medicine Institute and a researcher in brain plasticity and brain rewiring. If you or someone you know may believe that you have unresolved issue, if you're not functioning as well, as powerfully or effortlessly as you would like to function, contact me to schedule a consultation. You will find my information in the contact description box below the video. If you are on YouTube, forensic regression may well be the only and most importantly, the most powerful way that you will find to be able to address, resolve, and release fractures and limitations that are not serving you, and help you embark on a life that is worth living, full of purpose, passion, living your truth in authenticity. Thank you for tuning in, everyone. I will see you soon in our next video. Until then, have a beautiful week. Ciao, ciao.